What's going on, YouTube? This is your boy Lou. It's been a while. um, things been crazy, but it's starting to get better. I'm finally, back on my feet, working, making some money. I'm really, really, really behind, but I think I'm gonna make it. Um, I know, this isn't about wrestling at the moment, but it will be here in a second. If you want to fast forward through this, just go ahead and just click and not click. I just fast forward to the time annotation above. I recently, within the last 2 months or so, 1.5, 2 months, had a surgery on my ACL and LCL in my left knee, and then I ended up getting pneumonia shortly after that. Ended up getting really sick, and the surgery I had prior to the Daniel Bryan rant video that I did, and I blacked out the day of the Daniel Bryan video, and I really don't remember much of a couple of days. I ended up getting pneumonia. I was burning up a high fever that day that I did that particular video. I guess I was burned up for a couple of days, and I guess at that point, because I was just so drawn out on painkillers and shit from my leg and shit, I really didn't. I just really didn't notice I was getting sick, and it was pretty bad. So, but road to recovery here, feeling good. So, what do I think about wrestling currently? Since it's been a while, it's been about a month and a half, 2 months. There's a lot I got to talk about. So just bear with me here. I'm going to start back a little ways prior to TLC. I'm going to talk about the build-up, talk about TLC, and a couple of other things that happened in here and between, in WWE all the way up until this point now. Okay, the TLC build-up is the first thing I want to talk about, because like I said, it's been a while since I've actually spoken about, anything here on YouTube. TLC was, I'll get to TLC in a minute, but like I said, the build-up just wasn't there. It was really, really bad, especially considering what they gave away on free TV, because it didn't make any sense. You had, like, the rematch, CM Punk versus Del Rio for the belt on Raw, and at the pay-per-view we had Miz and that little duo to make it a trio in a TLC match for the belt. Now, why was Miz even in the match? I don't understand why he was there. Knowing that R-Truth is going to come back and feud with them, it's not going to be over the belt, so why was he even in the match? So the Del Rio Punk match that happened on Raw could have happened at TLC, and the Daniel Bryan Mark Henry match in the cage could have happened at TLC. It's a hardcore match, why not? Alright, they could have built for those and then had them at the pay-per-view, because it took 2 weeks into the build for TLC for them to even announce anything about it. And that's bad. And they finally announced it was going to be Mark Henry versus the Big Show for the belt at TLC in a chairs match. And that was after the cage match that Mark Henry had faced Daniel Bryan in for the belt. So, 2 weeks in of a 4-week build, and we had nothing. We finally got something, and then they started announcing matches after that. We knew that Cody Rhodes and Booker T was going to happen. They just didn't announce it right away, and they did not announce the Zack Ryder versus Dolph Ziggler for the United States Championship either until the very last minute, even though we all knew it was going to really happen. Everything else in the pay-per-view was kind of like, okay, like really, what are we going to see? So, in terms of the build-up, I can't even give this show a C rating in terms of its build. These shows are very mediocre in terms of building for the pay-per-view, and to be honest with you, I wasn't happy with a lot of the overall entertainment aspects of these shows within the wrestling and the promos and whatnot, because once again, the promos and everything they were doing was not really building for the pay-per-view. I think they did a little bit too much Christmas shit and things of that nature, so I don't know, there was just a lot missing here. That's all I'm going to say. There was just a lot that wasn't there. I give the build-up for this pay-per-view a D. We got announced matches. It was at the very last minute, though, and it was just a horrible build altogether. Now, take aside all the booking, this pay-per-view was awesome. It was great. I really enjoyed the show. I'm not going to complain about it. It was epic to me in terms of a pay-per-view that I've seen in the last, 5 to 6 years, maybe a little bit longer. This is one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in that time frame. It had good matches. It was hardcore. The right people went over, with the exception of Wade Barrett losing to Randy Orton. The two random matches, Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne, Air Boom versus Hunigo and Primo, or Hunigo and Epico, whatever the combination of guys was for the belts. Primo or somebody won a dark match, and then whoever won a tag team match against Air Boom on Superstars, which is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. So we should have had this on free TV, so we knew it was going to happen. There could have been a little bit of build for it, and the Sheamus Swagger match was just announced at the pay-per-view. So at least they described why the tag team match is happening, but the other match just made no sense. If I take away all that stuff, this was a good show. The overall entertainment value of the show, I liked it. Great wrestling. It had great wrestling. It was, in my opinion, good in terms of the people that went over. And if I take the overall entertainment value of the show, the fact that they incorporated the weapons and the way they used the weapons and things of that nature, I know it's the same thing, whatever. I liked it. I thought it was good. I don't care about blood, okay? I don't care about the chair shots to the head. That's going to give them concussions, okay? They got to be safe to an extent. And I think that they did a good job of putting on a hardcore pay-per-view. Something that people have wanted for a very long time. Good wrestling and hardcore matches. Well, we got it. So, one thing I was a little upset about, and now just coming back to YouTube and checking out my main page, I looked at a couple of videos from a while back from TLC up until now. A lot of people were upset with TLC, and I don't know why. I thought it was a good show. If I was grading the show just upon the entertainment value of the show and not the booking and whatnot, I would give this show a B+. Very good show. I would even go A-. As a matter of fact, I'll change that. I'll give the show an E-. But if I was going to incorporate the booking and the overall senses here, everything combined, this show would still get a solid C in my book. A solid C. Very, very close to a C+. Because the build was just so bad. But I'm not going to completely destroy the pay-per-view because of the build, because it was so entertaining. So the overall grade, build, and the matches, the card itself, is a C. Now I'm trying to keep these little segments of my videos short here because there's a lot of things I want to talk about, and I don't want to burn up, an hour of time here, because who's going to wants to really watch a video for an hour? So continuing on, the next thing I want to talk about is the CM Punk situation here in WWE, where people are jumping on the bandwagon and then jumping off the bandwagon. Okay, what is a bandwagon? Somebody let me know real quick down below because I'm a little confused there. I'm a fan. I'm not riding any bandwagons, okay? If I was to describe a bandwagon would be something that people jump on when something seems cool, but then they jump off when it's not cool anymore to them. Okay, WWE books CM Punk a certain way. They tell him what to go out there and say, okay? No matter what they script him to say, he's still good on the mic, he's still good in the ring. So you people that are, jumping off his horse, okay, and not riding his dick anymore, I don't give a shit, okay? You people can do what you want. That's your opinion. But don't, in the future, jump on somebody's so-called bandwagon and then just jump off after they reach the top, because all you're successfully doing is telling WWE that you never wanted that, and they might as well just go back to what they had before, because WWE has no other plans. Understand this. John Cena and Randy Orton booked into things right now, so they had no choice but to have new guys on top. But if we don't get behind these guys, we're going to get the same old shit all over again. So if that's what you guys want, that are bashing on CM Punk after praising him for the promos he put on, prior to Money in the Bank and, post Money in the Bank shit, all the way to Money in the Bank itself, if you guys really want Cena Orton back on top 24/7, quit bitching, okay? Because you're not helping the situation. That's why WWE does not listen to us, because we cannot agree. People just say one thing, but then they say something else. So you change your whole opinion on a certain person within like 1 second. How can you do that? How can you go from liking somebody to hating somebody all of 1 second? I mean, really. I mean, come on, people. Really. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is Kane. Kane's epic return of sorts. Not really epic. I'm glad Kane came back with the mask. I like it. I think his getup looks kind of retarded, but I like the mask. He kind of looks like the Undertaker's brother again. I like that concept. I've always liked it. I've always liked the masked Kane better than the non-masked Kane, so I'm glad they brought him back. And I know Mark Henry's injured, so he couldn't feud with Mark Henry, so they put him with the John Cena. And hopefully, at least, because I don't really agree with this, I would have rather seen him go with Mark Henry, but Mark Henry is injured, so they couldn't go that direction. That's why he's not the champion, right? That's why Daniel Bryan's the champion. Okay. Granted that, taking what they're doing with Kane, I pray, because they keep nagging and pushing it, that John Cena, somewhere down the line here, turns heel. Or at least acknowledges the fact that there's people out there that hate him. He's not controversial. People just hate him. WWE needs to realize that. They have shirts that say Cena sucks, so, you would think that they would be turning him heel. I mean, that would be the idea here. I mean, trying to, promote to the hardcore fan base with those shirts, so yeah, so, but we'll have to see what happens. I don't know if, WWE actually has the balls to turn John Cena heel because he sells so much merchandise and blah, 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 blah. Daniel Bryan as the World Heavyweight Champion, I am, eh, Daniel Bryan fan. Love Daniel Bryan. But the build was just bad. I'm glad he's champion. Don't get it wrong. I just wish they would have built him better. I like the fact that they're showing this heel turn of sorts. I like that they're showing a little bit of more of aggressive, I'm kind of dirty in your face type shit. So I like that. It's hopefully going to allow him to get on the mic and actually perform. So WWE can actually learn that Daniel Bryan can speak on the mic and he's great in the ring, and they'll see that. Eventually, people will get into him, and that's what's important for him to get in with the casual fan bases that not know Bryan Danielson. The ones that only know Daniel Bryan need something to get into, and hopefully this heel turn will be something for them to get into with Daniel Bryan, so they're not just silent when Daniel Bryan enters an arena. Alright, people, so that's basically about it. That's pretty much everything that's happened. Other than Randy Orton is kayfabe injured. If he's really injured, okay, sorry for him. Don't like him. I don't want people to get hurt. I don't know if he's really injured or it's just kayfabe. Okay, I'm not sure. We'll have to see what the deal is. I hope it's just not them booking him to win the Royal Rumble because it's in St. Louis, but more than likely that is what's going to happen. He'll end up main eventing WrestleMania, but let's hope it doesn't happen. At least I want to hope that doesn't happen. You guys can hope what you want. Other than that, really, that's it. There's nothing else to really say at this point. I said all I wanted to say. Kept it relatively short, I think. So leave y'all's opinions down below. What you think of, or thought of TLC, the build up to it. What you think of the Daniel Bryan heel turn. What you think of the Kane return, the Kane John Cena feud. What do you think of, I don't know, anything currently that I did not speak about? Do you think that the Intercontinental title right now is gains prestige with Cody Rhodes holding it and bringing back the Classic? Do you think that Zack Ryder is a good U.S. champion? Do you think that there's overall great champions right now in WWE? Just leave your comments and thoughts down below about WWE's current product that they're presenting to us on free TV and pay-per-view. Subscribe, you know what it is. Peace.